For people who've never heard of OnBase University, can you kind of explain the importance of of the work that you're doing and how that can benefit the athletes?
Yeah. So I think what the thing that sets us apart from any other organization, at least I believe, is our philosophy on technique. And what I mean by that is, like, if you go to any event anywhere, go to any team anywhere, the coach usually has some type of technical bias based on style. And what does that mean? That means, like, if I'm going to have you pitch, I might say, I like what Kat Osterman does. I like her movement. So I'm going to film you and I'm going to compare you to Kat, and look, your arm's in a different position. So I think your arm should be over here. But if your thought is, Kat's not my style, I like Ali Carter. Okay, that's totally different, right? So if I put Ali over here, which again, two great pitchers, but if you decide on a style-based form of coaching, you now are going to try and make all your players do what your hero or your model does. And from a science perspective, we know that is in my opinion, one of the worst ways to coach, because basically what you're doing is you're assuming that everybody can physically do what Ali Carter can do, or can physically do what Kat Osterman can do. And I don't think I have to say this out loud, but how many people do you think can physically do what these incredible athletes can do? Not a lot, right?
It's a small percentage.
It's a small percent. So when I put Monica Abbott on the screen and I put another pitcher, a young girl next to her, and I say, look, this is the position, she's at the top of the arm circle, and you need to do this too. If that girl can't physically do that, you're telling them to do something they can't physically do. And that's called horrible coaching, right? Because that's frustrating not only for the coach, but for the player, right? So our philosophy is very different. Our philosophy is this. We say, listen, there's a million ways to pitch. And who am I to say that the best way has been discovered already? There might be some young girl coming out that's going to show us some way that we've never seen before. So we want innovation. We want new changes. So instead of looking at style as our indicator of, hey, this is how we think you should pitch, we said 22 years ago, we said, is there a different way to do this? Instead of looking at style, can we just figure out, is what you're doing working or not? And if it's working, if it's efficient, well, who am I to say that that's a bad style? So to do that requires some really different approach, I would say, to evaluating athletes. So our entire approach is based on what we call efficiency versus style. So in other words, why don't we physically check first to see what our athlete can do? Once I understand what the athlete can do, then let's measure them using some of the state-of-the-art equipment. Now, this is like where 3D motion capture comes in, to see is what they're doing working? And if it is working, we're good. Let's just make sure they don't break down and try and make it as fast as possible. If it's not working, let's try and figure out how to build a pitch or a hitting, say, technique that actually they can physically do, or we need to get them with our PIC crew, our medical and fitness, and change what they can physically do. That's the core of our philosophy at OnBase.
So for people who are thinking right now, like, Dr. Rose, I don't have access to a 3D motion capture system.
Yep, you don't need it.
Yeah, where do they start?
Think of it like this. When the MRI came out for doctors, okay, an MRI machine's a couple $1 million, and doctors were like, first of all, they were like, what is, like, I've never seen this before. Like, is that a tumor? Like, what is, like, we were discovering things we've never seen before. And then there are certain doctors that are like, I don't have an MRI machine, I don't need to learn that, right? And then there's other ones who are like, I don't even care if I have an MRI machine or not. There's some really cool stuff I can learn from this. So there's two types of people. I hope you could see hopefully you were the second person, because the first doctor's not around anymore, right?
Right.
So right now, if you go to a doctor, if you go to an orthopedic surgeon and you bring your MRIs for your hip, you assume they can read the MRI, right?
Yeah.
But you don't think they have an MRI machine in their office, do you? Because they don't, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same way, right? 3D motion capture is allowing us to look inside the athlete and see how they create power and how they transfer power through their body, and how different athletes do this in different ways. And by understanding that information, it just makes you a better coach. Now, once you see this, of course, every doctor wants an MRI. I'd love to have an MRI, right? But what you'll see, like in golf, there are 3D testing centers everywhere in the United States. Within 20 minutes of wherever you live, I can get you to go to a lab and get tested, right? That will happen. It's happening in baseball right now. It's kind of like a wave going. That will start happening in softball. I'm seeing the labs opening up. A lot of the universities are opening up the labs now. And that'll slowly start to migrate. It's kind of like, TrackMan in golf. Like TrackMan, we were, you know, every golfer, every PGA Tour player has their own TrackMan. They carry them and they go around with them. When baseball started, they were like, I don't know, it's just going to do in stadiums. They in stadiums,
Right.
and now there's the personal units. Now there's Rapsodo, and it's just going. The same thing's going to happen with 3D motion capture. So I'm always like, listen, this isn't going anywhere. You're not going to beat technology. Technology is coming because it's like cheating. Like, why guess when you can assess? So I always say, first and foremost, it doesn't matter if you have the technology or not. Just by understanding it makes you a better coach. Makes your eyes better. Trains your eyes better. Now, there are systems where, like when I first started doing motion capture back when I was in Maryland, I mean, the first system that we bought, okay, this system was, I mean, it's embarrassing to say, but it was one of those cameras with a VCR tape. This is how old I am, right?
Yeah.
And basically we would take these PVC pipes and we would film with 2 cameras. We would have to go into our computer back then, which was like a Commodore 64, and we would digitize each point. And I remember I did a motion capture on Eric Gagne from the Dodgers in like 2000 or 1999, 2000. He was down in Vero Beach, and it took us 2 days to get the data for one throw, right? And that system was like $40,000 back then, which is crazy. We have systems at our facility right now that are over $250,000, like these huge systems. Well, now you can go get like a K-Vest. A K-Vest is a Bluetooth sensor system that's like $5,000. And everyone's like, man, that's crazy. I'm like, you have no idea. Like in 2 minutes, you get instantaneous, you can set up and capture a player, and it's instantaneous, where it used to take us 2 days and cost $50,000. So it's just, the price just keeps coming down and down, and it's going to keep doing that. And with time, you know, you're going to be able to use your cell phone to get 3D motion capture data. I mean, I can't wait for those days.
Yeah,
but
me too.
it's not too far away. Yeah.